Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today and to watch my video. Uh, I'm continuing on from the branding section to how to set up Zend.to to use Active Directory users and computers from Rocky Linux 9 using LDAP port 389 and LDAPS on port 636 using a bind user from this Linux box to Active Directory on a Windows 2019 server. As always, if you like my video, please subscribe to it and give me a thumbs up like. And if you have any comments, please make some in the comments section. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Before continuing further, I do want to point out that in order to do this, you should already have set up and working a domain controller. And in my example, it's 2019 standard. In order for you to do LDAPS, that Windows 2019 server needs the role Active Directory Certificate Services installed and working as well. To do this demonstration, I'm using a standard domain user that has read access to Active Directory and is able to act and query against Active Directory. Additionally, an Active Directory standard security group, and in my case here, is called Zend.to, and at least one valid test user account populated in that Zend.to account for this demonstration. So let's begin. First, I'm going to log in as admin to my Linux box via webmin, and I want to go to Tools, File Manager, and I want to get to the Preferences folder. Now, this file is located under opt Zend.to config. So let's get to editing here. Now down by 862 for LDAP is what I'm going to show you first. Oops, went past. So let me explain a few things before I modify this. So we're showing that the authenticator that we're doing here is AD. There is an LDAP version. Okay, now if we go down a few lines to 935, you'll see that there is an array for different authenticators. The different authenticators that I know of are AD, local, SAML, and LDAP straight up. So I'm only talking about AD, and AD exists in this authenticator array. So that is fine. And you can get a better example of the meaning here, but as you can see, AD is what we're doing, so let's proceed from there. Now, Zend.to uses arrays in certain elements for this to allow for a multiple, and in this case, servers, and this represents one domain. So by domain, think of a company usually only has one, blue company has one domain. So it'd be like bluecompany.local. In my case, it's the techguysguide.io, right? So you would have maybe AD1 and AD2. So you'd have a primary and a secondary server to choose from. You could also have different DNs, right? So you may have OU users and then another O, and then beneath that, right, or sorry, above that would be another OU or CN, so on and so forth. So this could be also an array as well. And the way that you set up the array is you put your first server here in this quote, and then the second one, and you have a comma, right? Then there's the suffix. So if I have Mary Jane who's trying to log in here, it's Mary Jane. She doesn't have to type Mary Jane at, you know, ECS dot at ecs.soton.ac.uk. These two, very old, you shouldn't need those. This is where the bind username and password goes. This is your organization, member of. This is important because we're using groups. And here you'd populate your group that you want to use. And then in here is how you want to either recursively do a full recursive search or simple recursive search. I would suggest you stick with simple recursive searches. So let's get to it. I'll put in my settings and let's go from there. Okay, so in my settings, it's still AD. As you can see, I have it set to LDAP and then the IP address of my server. It could also be the name, my base DN of my server. Uh, this is the suffix that I'm using. This is my bind user, and as you can see, it's its full name there, its password, the organization member of, and then the group, and then the CN of the users, right? So this is the group, this is the OU or CN, right? And then the server, and then so on and so forth there. So to show that, if you see here, you'll see this group has these members, Tom Jones and Tom Miller. And then I believe I created a Tom Smith. And didn't I create another one? I guess it was just Tom Smith. So we'll use, so the one user is, two users are in the group and one is not. So let's see what happens. I hit save. We go over here and we can try Tom Jones and he can log in. And then we can try S. Miller, who's not, I believe, part of that group. And you can see there's an authentication error. And let's, so that we used S. Miller. Hmm, I thought, well, T. Smith is not part of that group. There we go. I thought I had created an S. Miller. It's really T. Smith. And that's pretty much it for LDAP. Now, let's talk about LDAPS. So LDAPS, from Zend.to's perspective, we add the server as an S. Now, I know my server already has the LDAPS certificate services installed. So unfortunately, it's not just adding an S here. We do need to configure the Open LDAP, which is installed natively by Rocky Linux, to utilize a piece here. And so we want to go to etc open LDAP and then edit the LDAP.conf file. Now in here, this is the base. We want to copy this and remove the pound sign and then put in our server DC information. And then we want to copy this and we want to put it as LDAPS because this is using LDAP. And we want to add the port number 636 at the end here. So URI LDAPS, so on and so forth. And then we want to add the TLS underscore REQ cert and set it to allow. And then we want to save this and then close it. And let's go back to our config file, and we want to confirm that we've configured this correctly. So down by 862. Yes, we've set that to LDAPS. Now, if I've done everything right, let's see here. So we have our ZendTo, right? Tom Jones and Tom Miller, and I have a Tom Smith, right? So Tom Jones, or right, should be able to log in. Excellent. And then T Smith, oops, if I could type right, should be able to not log in. Whoa. Ah, there we go. Not able to log in. Authentication error. The username and password was incorrect. So authorization failed. So pretty much stopped at the gate. Can't get it. Um, that's pretty much it for LDAP and LDAPS. Again, I want to thank you for watching my video, and if you would please subscribe, and if you can like it, because that's what YouTube uses its metrics against. And if you have any comments, please make some, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.